We're going to take a look at the defensive side of the game here now. If you notice down in the lower left corner and again in the lower right corner, so in the bench area of each team, there's a defense section and also a double team section. Alright, let's go ahead and run this. Now, when there's a setup play on, some certain options become available to you. So in the defense section we have man defense, zone defense if that option is turned on in the game options, and press defense. So there's three different options there. If it's in man, the players will simply stay near the center court line, and you'll always see the matchup between the offensive player, who is circled in gold, and then the defensive player, which ordinarily is circled in black. Okay, so once we hit setup, Gilgeous-Alexander has the ball, and in man defense there are no switches going on, so player number 3 will be covered by player number 3 on the opposing team, player 4 by player 4, etc. Okay, and now you can see that Gilgeous-Alexander still has the ball. He is over here in 3D. Hayward is covering him, so he is circled in black, so he's highlighted in black. So this is man defense, and these numbers down below each player indicate what their ratings are defensively in each of the 3 levels. So we have level 1, level 2, level 3. So that's man defense. There are also double team options, but those as well are only available whenever a setup play is on. So because of that, we'll just go ahead and run this play. We have a steal by Hayward. Alright, now OKC has the opportunity to change into a different defense. So they're in man. We'll just leave them there for now. And we're going to double team Rozier. So we'll place a double team on him, and then a little arrow pops up that indicates that we can double team with one of the players here. Now we're not going to be able to play with number 2, or double team with number 2, because Dort is already assigned to Rozier during the play here. So we'll have to pick somebody else. I'm going to go ahead and choose a small forward, so we'll have Gilgeous-Alexander go ahead and participate on that. Let's run a setup play. Okay, Rozier does indeed have the ball, and as you can see, Gilgeous-Alexander is set askew here a little bit, indicating that he is presently involved in a double team. So we do have a double team with Dort and Gilgeous-Alexander against Rozier. Let's run the play. And if you look up here, you can see that Dort has a little 2 superscript above his name, indicating that there is a double team going on. So Dort's usual defensive rating is 1, so is Gilgeous-Alexander. What we've done is combine the 2 of those to do this. Now Rozier still beat the double team in this case because of his dice roll. Now that double team is going to stay active until you turn it off. So let's show you how to do that here too. We'll keep in man defense again. And this time let's double team Gilgeous-Alexander here. And we'll use Rozier. No, better yet, we'll use Washington to double team on him. So Washington is set aside askew here a little bit. So Gilgeous-Alexander does have the ball. Coincidence. Gilgeous-Alexander has the highest recipient rating, and Rozier also has the highest recipient rating. So that's kind of a good indicator of who you might want to put a double team on. Okay, we'll run the play. Steal by Hayward. So this time the double team paid off. Hayward was involved in a double team, as indicated by the 2 up here. And if we look at Hayward and Washington's ratings, in level 2, they're both equal to 1. So those 2 are added to his dice roll of 6, and that's why he won the matchup. Now we can also play a zone defense, and double teams are handled differently in a zone than they are in man-to-man. So let's go ahead and click on zone, and right away you can see that it deleted the double team action that had been taken before by Oklahoma City. And now we have a zone. So these are the default settings. And if you look at these circles represent players, yes, but they also are designed to cover zones, literally cover zones. So if a emblem is able to straddle two zones, that's an eligible zone to have a guy cover both pieces. So for example, Gilgis Alexander is covering zones 3D and 2D. Horford is tackling 1C and 1B. Baisley has 1A and 2A, etc. Out here around the arc, we have Hill covering both 3C and 2C, etc. One zone is always going to be left unoccupied and uncovered. And so in this case, we have 3A, which is pretty normal, being uncovered defensively by Oklahoma City. So if Charlotte can pick that zone, and it is a random process, you don't know exactly where that uncovered zone is going to be, assumingly anyway, then they will automatically win that matchup. Okay, now let's just run that without moving these players around a little bit here. So we'll go ahead and run a setup, and Rozier has the ball in 2C. He will be covered by Hill this time instead of by Dort, who Dort would have covered him defensively had we been in a man defense still. And we'll go ahead and run the play. Alright, he hit the jumper, and now we're back to the setup play. So by default, Oklahoma City's players return to their startup position here. And if you look, Charlotte is still set up in a man defense, and they're still double teaming Gilgis Alexander using Washington as the second man in. So let's get rid of that and go to a zone defense now for Charlotte as well. And once again, they're going to do the same thing. But this time, we're not going to do the same thing. We're going to cover these zones a little bit differently. We may notice that maybe Oklahoma City doesn't have a big lineup on the floor. Maybe they have a small lineup on the floor. So they're more likely to attack the outer zones rather than the inner ones. So let's defend that a little bit better by taking Washington and literally moving him up here so that he covers zone 2A and 3A. And we'll let Biombo stay where he's at. And so now we've got all of those zones covered. The only zone uncovered at the moment is 1A. All right, let's go ahead and run the play and see what happens. We've got Hill. He is being covered presently by Rozier. We'll run the play, and Hill sinks the basket. Change possession, so Oklahoma City automatically drops back in their zone. This time, let's do something a little bit differently. Instead of covering 1A and 2A, let's have Baisley cover 2A and 2B. So as you can see, you can kind of straddle that area. So now he's covering that. And you may notice that we have two zones now uncovered instead of just one. That's because we've set up a double team. So what we've done is double team zone 2B here. So instead of double teaming an individual person, so to speak, we're double teaming a zone instead. So let's run the play. And this time, as it happened, 2D was the attack zone by Hayward. And Gilgis Alexander comes up with a steal. Okay, we'll do something similarly with Charlotte here on the other end. Notice they're still in the same zone setting that they had in the last play that they had. Okay, what I did was move Biombo up here. So now I've opened up the entire paint area of 1A, 1B, and 1C. None of those zones are covered. Instead, what we have is Rozier and Biombo double covering 2B, Biombo and Graham double covering 2C. So this is kind of how double teams work in a zone defense in this game. And unfortunately for Charlotte, Horford connects down low here, so he's in 1A. What you're going to see up here is that he'll be unopposed in the matchup, so no blue player shows up, and Horford automatically wins the matchup. And this is a good illustration of that. Even though his ratings only add up to a 2, and the defensive ratings add up to 3 because of the dice roll, Horford still wins the matchup because he's uncovered. So, unfortunately for Horford, he missed the shot. So there's a rebound, and Biombo comes up with it. There's also a press defense. And press is the same as man-to-man in this game. The only difference is that a team in a press defense will end up causing more turnovers by their opponent, but they will be charged with more fouls on a regular basis. So now, as you can see, we're back to basically a man-to-man defense. Charlotte, however, is still in their zone, and it's using the zone that was set up in the last play. You can't see it right now, but there is a fourth defensive option, and that's the desperation option. It becomes only available if a team is down during the last minute of play during the entire game, and the score has to be relatively close in order for that to become active. Basically, what it's telling your defense to do is to foul on purpose in order to force free throws.